Well, howdy, y'all. We're going to sit here and we're going to look at some very smart people on very smart Reddit on the very smart internet. Here we go. I miss the days when the lower IQ masses were intimidated by the old Reddit UI. It has become exceptionally bad recently since a significant amount of the Twitter-only crowd moved here. The top comments usually have a ooh or oh, call themselves lowercase I, or they get their third grade words mixed up, two, and two. These comments would have been downvoted and shamed in the past, not upvoted to the top. Grammar aside, the comments are typical, mindless drivel or an immature and unoriginal attempt at humor. You know, for somebody who talks about how you've been on the internet for a long time, it sure don't sound like you've been on the internet for a long time, brother. A psychiatrist scored me at 149. Nobody worth talking to. I have 4 PhDs. Pretty much have to live in my own head. By the way, you sure as hell don't want to be above 160. 3 of my students committed. Totally unfit to live in this world. That's a real defeatist way to look at it, man. You know, look, yeah, sometimes when you're a smart cookie, it's hard to sort of accept life as it is. Sometimes that's kind of my problem a little bit. But we're not talking about me. We're talking about these people, right? I somehow doubt you have 4 PhDs, because that'd be a lot of school that you'd have to been in. And it seems like you'd have something better to do than talking on Reddit here about how smart you are. If you have 4 PhDs. Alright. Sometimes I believe I'm the superior image of what a gifted kid should be because I didn't get burnout or mental issues, nor am I even neurodivergent. I just stopped caring in school, and that's about it, to be honest. I'm not bragging, by the way. It just seriously feels like this, considering how everyone else went. Yeah. There's a lot of quote-unquote gifted kids that end up having problems later in life, and you wonder, well, were they really gifted, or did they just show some form of maybe neurodivergence or whatever? It's everybody's different. Everybody's on some sort of sliding scale, and I don't think anybody can really look at people who are having burnout in life and be like, well, I'm definitely superior to them because I, unlike them, know my place and know how wonderful I am. Why is it not a healthy mindset? Are you saying that talking about sex is bad? Excessively obsessing about an event that due diligence isn't a vote to experience is deleterious? This guy has sex with his thesaurus. Yeah, it sure does seem like he tongues it a good bit. I tend to articulate at a higher level of diction. It may sound pretentious. It absolutely sounds pretentious, but it's a manner of speaking nonetheless. Misread, I tend to ejaculate. Hey, he does because he's got all them high-dollar words floating around in his mouth, you know, after his thesaurus, you understand. Satirical humor, attempting to revalue my premise. I don't know why I go into like this, like borderline Fraser Crane sounding voice. I guess that's because who I think of when I think of somebody who's trying to be smarter than the people around them. I'd say it's a great example of critical thinking skills. We had our IQs tested long ago. Mine is higher at 136, which annoyed me because it's only 4 points off of an official genius. But at least it's closer than 131. You sure do damn be smart, man. I mean, you know that 136 is closer to 140 than 131 is, man. God, you're so damn good at math. Oh my God. Samantha, come here, Samantha. I forgot to tell you a funny thing that happened at work yesterday. Or rather, I got home from work and was all excited that she embedded hyperlinks in a Word doc. I think they teach that in preschool. But at the time he came in, I was chaining together API calls to automate a process. She started watching me and just ended up leaving the office. God. The humor. Some people, they're made for humor. Some people just don't understand. I really hate myself that I can do that. Like, that's something, like, there's some things I can do that I'm like, yeah, I can do that. And then there's some things I do that I'm like, God, why can't I do that? And it pisses me off a little bit. Bro, you couldn't even begin to fathom the level of knowledge I have on music. Y'all just children thinking it's meaningless, whatever. But Jesus, y'all probably don't even know what kind of amps this bands use. Strings, pedals, I do. Oh, I also know how to play all their songs on all their instruments, so I, of all of you, am probably your best versions of yourselves had any of you attempted to learn something about this music. Christ. But y'all don't know the difference between Blood on the Dance Floor and A Day to Remember, so that's on you, not me. I love when people keep music, man, you know. I could go for a while about that, but I'm not going to. But know that I could go for a while about that. I keep almost doing it. Like I almost just want to just get a little sucker punch in before we go to the next one. I'm not going to do it. Those who can't do, teach. I do, and teach just fine. As a student, I had better reading comprehension than 90% of my teachers and had to consistently correct them when they would teach misinformation due to their lack of reading comprehension. The saying stands, yes. I stood up and I took the little stick away from my teacher and I said, guess what, children? I am now your teacher because I can read more goodly than her. You know you're sad when you can tell what superhero movie it is from a picture. Seriously, dude, get a life. I travel the world, I have a PhD and my own company. Do something productive, man. You know, like bust people on frickin' Reddit. Browsing this website makes me lose faith in humanity. I can't even put into words the number of my arguments I've had strawmanned, irrationally disapproved of, or refuted with shabbily assembled citations and logically inept arguments. Maybe it's a pompous and egotistical thing for me to say, but I genuinely think I'm great at debating. I make sure my arguments are logically sound, and when they aren't, or I'm called out for it, I'm the bigger man and admit it. As someone who's on the spectrum, I can chiefly say at least 30% of the people on this website are blathering, irrational children with incredibly biased, radical, and irrational beliefs. I hope this website isn't representative of humanity as a whole, because it's really making me question if my species can really be saved. So is this like your first day on the internet or what, bro? You know, sometimes people... I'm going to let you on a little secret right now. And don't tell nobody. But sometimes, when you argue with somebody on the internet, you're not even really arguing with them so much as they're just trying to piss you off. I know, crazy, right? Like, who on the internet would try to piss off random strangers? Why would you do that? I know. It blew the shit out of my mind too. But it's real. I turn 25 next week. Most scientific studies would agree that my brain is no longer in doing this cold, man. It is time to reflect on a quarter century of memories and fully embrace the next era of abundant mirth and accomplishment. It is my desire for the accumulated experience of the ages to deem me indisputably incandescent, unarguably bright, I guess, as it records me in its annals. The inimitable rhetoric, verve, and panache I so happily invents hopefully proves not to be as ephemeral as the era of the... I'm not going to frickin' pronounce that, man. Rather as indelible and everlasting as the epoch of Shakespeare and Marlowe. Not one of an age, but one for all time. You think your 25 years of life is gonna stand shoulder to shoulder with Shakespeare? Brother, I don't even know what you said here. You said a bunch of things that don't make a coherent thought. Like, you said a lot of things to say, I hope I'm remembered in so many words here. You didn't go down the street so much as you went down this side of the street, went through the woods, stopped in the grocery store, bought you a 6-pack, and then came back around and went down there, man. Like, there's no reason You're doing way too much here. Way too freaking much here. And I do believe that is where we're going to call it for right now. Thank you very much for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing. Maybe you're a little smarter now. Maybe your brain has been enriched with the inane ramblings of people that have nothing better to do than talk to other people on the internet about how they are smarter than other people on the same internet. Or you might be dumber for it. I don't know. But either way, thank you very much. Tell all your friends we're here. And until next time, bye.